All right. Double uploading in the span of a couple hours is normally terrible for the algorithm, but I'm full sending it anyways because who cares? And Jack told me it would be fine. All right, so basically there have been some Mythic Plus tuning hotfixes on the weekly reset. In general, things that I would probably like to see is I would like to see some of the bosses get tuned down because I would say there are a lot of pretty unfair interactions for those players who aren't really aware of what's about to happen with some of the bosses. It makes it really difficult to pug in a lot of situations. I've also found that the dungeon squish is allowing fewer and fewer players to actually interact with Mythic Plus because the dungeons are so hard sometimes. So I think that I would actually start by maybe cutting down some of the bosses. Obviously, it really just kind of depends on the boss specifically. But those are the things I would kind of like to see. But I guess let's take a look and see what they did. Looks like it's between Grimbatol, Stone Vault, and Boralis. So for Grimbatol, corrupt damage reduced by 10% in precast time, increased to 1.5 seconds, was previously 1 second. Twilight Ember should no longer tick instantly. So this is the ground effect from the dragon. Twilight Flame can no longer be spell reflected. This can be spell reflected. Okay. Anyways. Enveloping Shadow Flame now applies 1 curse per cast, was previously 2. So this is gonna, these are the Warlock mobs. This will actually reduce the amount of decurses that you realistically want in this dungeon. I still think that this, Jack, is this able to be healed through this Warlock debuff?
Yeah.
Like you can actually out heal this?
Yeah, you can. Like some specs can out heal it better than others.
Yeah.
But when you have like double stacks of it on people, it's really rough. The other side of it is that they do ticking damage if you mouse over the Shadow Flame here.
Yeah.
Having the curse on you deals damage, but it lasts 16 seconds. So only having one of those debuffs out means that at worst, if you can't heal through it, you just keep them alive long enough for it to like fall off or get out of combat or whatever.
I did feel like it was like one of those situations that if you only had one debuff on you, it was fine. But the moment that you actually had like the second curse, like the second stack of the curse on you, it was like completely over and you were dying.
In beta, it used to be 3.
That was This was this mob. I'm glad that got nerfed. Shadow Wound, which was the Shawlings, I guess is the best way of describing it. Now increases shadow damage taken by 3%, was previously 5. I mean, Death Scraps, I mean, we don't know if this ability works.
I have a theory.
What do you think?
I think this is going to be an immunity for when you have those circles on you.
Oh, like
when you get the circle on you, you also have immunity to the tentacles.
Oh, yeah. So I still don't know.
Maybe I'm thinking. Who knows?
I don't know if that exactly like solves the problem that this fight has per se.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's it's getting better. I think that this is actually the Faceless Corruptor cast. Looking at it and okay, this makes sense. They didn't attribute these to any mobs in Wowhead. But yeah, basically, I think the problem with this fight is that there's too many tentacles. Also, it's really easy. Like, basically, if you get stuck in a tentacle, you're dead. There's, like, 0 recourse to even be able to do anything about it. So the best case scenario is you bring a DK and you AMS to immune it. Stone Vault Master Machinists. Vent duration reduced to 3 seconds, was previously 6. And the first tick of damage happens instantly. Oh, Jesus. It's unclear if the vents are reduced to 3 seconds or only the ticking damage reduced to 3 seconds. Gotcha. Molten Metal cast time increased to 3 seconds, was 2 seconds. I think that this mob the speaker should actually never cast Molten Metal whenever it jumps and pushes the box too. Like, it's fine whenever you're in like a coordinated group and you have somebody who's actually going to blink. If you have a mage that's going to blink and actually kick this mob. But the problem is, like, if you don't have somebody who's actually going to be able to kick it, this is tough to get to. I don't know. This fight has just like a lot of mechanics, and it's really, there's like this weird overlap where Dorito does the box push at the same time the vent's going on. Unless you press every defensive you have, it's like unhealable damage effectively. Or you drop a Spirit Link Totem, which in that case then you can probably heal it. But yeah, that was the only thing that actually changed about Stone Vault. That's crazy. I would maybe be looking at Skarmorax. What else is changing here? I don't see anything else.
I don't know. I think it's perfect, dude.
You wouldn't change Skarmorax at all?
Nope.
So I think it's Skarmorax. The issue that I have with that fight is like killing those crystals. It's not an issue of killing them at the right time. It's more just like you have to kill 6 of them, and the way that you have to kill them is so tight to the timer of the shield showing up that I think that they could actually use just one less crystal per phase, and it would probably be fine. Yeah, I don't know. The rest of the stuff I'm like more or less okay with in here.
The issue with like the vents going off was you'd have like the vents going off at the same exact time the cube exploded.
Yeah, that was really troll.
And so you just get one shot. Like,
yeah,
that stuff was so stupid.
I don't like that. I also don't like the fact that the boss jumps away and then casts molten metal. I think that is a ridiculous mechanic.
I think that's fine. You have like 6 seconds to get one range into position to go kick it. Yeah. You have so much time.
The problem is like it's like only specific range that can really kick. You're really gonna send a Shadow Priest to go kick that shit? Like no. Like
they have time. Like it's adaptable.
Okay, sure.
I think it's adaptable.
Okay, Borealis Burning Tar no longer has variance. This had variance.
That's a good response. It's like, fuck.
Why did this have anyways? Has a 40-yard range. Choking Waters now has a 3.5-second cast with 3. Crushing Slam damage reduced by 40%. Actually, don't. These are not the mobs that I would have actually have hit on. I would have hit the Irontide Raider. I think the Black Tower Bomber damage and like the Irontide Raider hook, and this Enforcer just randomly had an interrupting shout added. Like all of those things is what I would absolutely hit. I don't think I would be hitting the Choking Waters cast time or the Crushing Slam damage. Those are the two things that I think that are like whatever. Problem that I have with this dungeon, trash in the beginning is like way too hard, and then there's this weird interaction on Vic Goth, where second slam of the fight, you actually get the Putrid Waters at the exact same time, and I would have absolutely remove that interaction because I've seen a lot of pugs like actually just like die 100-0 to that, and kind of like similar to what Jack was saying earlier. I just don't think that there's any need to be one-shotting players with some weird damage overlap that they didn't know was happening. But yeah. Chopper Red Hook. Iron Hook no longer ignores LOS and has a 40-yard range. Was 100 yards. Huh. Iron Hook has a 40-yard range. So we can outrange that now. Interesting. I don't know this. I don't know if this is the direction I would be going with this, but anyways. Vic Goth. Slam scales damage and scales damage slower in a group. It has a 0.05 variance. Was 0.01. I'm gonna be straight up. I can't even quantify what that's gonna mean. Putrid Waters no longer has variance. Why do spells have variance? Like, but yeah, I still think the issue that I have with Slam and Putrid Waters is the fact that the second slam of the fight is like the exact same millisecond that Putrid Waters comes out, and this is again similar to the box blowing up. It's just like why? Anyways, I think that these are probably about right. I would still hit Stone Vault Trash. I would still hit Stone Vault Trash again. The Enforcer and the Iron Hook. There's a lot of bosses that I would still be looking at potentially. Surgeon Stitchflesh probably needs to get gutted or reworked. I would probably be looking to rework that boss. I think that boss is like very poorly designed. Yeah. That's it. Anyways. That's my analysis of these changes. GG's.